Hello and welcome to Charlotte Sketches, where Charlotte sketches. This is why your art teacher was actually right the whole time. But only kind of. Now I understand that the title of this video might be a little leading, and I don't want you to mistake it for clickbait, because I am actually going to make an argument as to why you should not draw anime. But before you decide to change the video, hear me out, because it's probably not what you think. And I'm not talking to the people who are hobbyists, or who do art for fun, or who just feel some sort of sense of gratification just for themselves out of art. If you're one of those people, draw whatever you want. You draw with mud, draw with pee, finger paint with mud and pee. I don't know. You could literally do anything if it's just for you. Your own personal growth, whatever you want to do. You do you. The people I'm actually talking to in this video are the people who want to go into the industry at some point. For instance, they want to work for somebody or produce something specifically in the West. Because it tends to be the problem of when we're talking about these things, there's no kid in Japan who's drawing anime and his art teacher is like, "Oh yeah, that's you should stop doing that. Not gonna take you anywhere in this life." No teacher in Japan is like that. However, if there is anyone from Japan who watches me who has a teacher who says that, I want to hear a detailed analysis of why they think that was a good idea to tell you, because honestly, it doesn't apply to anything I'm about to say right now. No, what I'm trying to get at here is why it doesn't make logical sense to draw anime in the West for someone who's trying to get into the industry. And when I say the industry, I mean either comic books or animation or anything of that nature. You could probably get away with it with freelance because there are definitely people who will want to buy anime related things. You can tell by any convention you go to that there will be a market for that. But when it comes to your teacher, who in probably elementary school or middle school or high school or any combination of the three, saw you draw anime one day at your desk and was like, "You need to stop. You need to, no. Put it down. You're not allowed to do that." Or, "This is bad. This is a bad thing, and you should not do that." If you're any of those kids, and judging by the degree of videos and just the plethora of this subject matter that's found on just YouTube alone, there's probably plenty of you, and it's probably the reason you clicked on this video. If you're any of those people, this video might be for you. And I'm here to explain, better than your teacher did, why they were right. Now, a bit of backstory. When I was young, when I was but a grasshopper, a tiny thing, if you will, I had the similar experience of drawing anime in my art class, and my art teacher looked at me and said, "No. Stop it." And she didn't tell me why. And so when I asked her why, she said, "Well, you shouldn't draw anime," as if there was some sort of moral reason as to why anime shouldn't be drawn by me specifically. And I was like, but it didn't make any sense until years later. So cut to years later. When I was in college, one of my mentors told me the real reason I shouldn't draw anime. And I'm really grateful to him, because if he hadn't laid it out for me, I would have just continued to think that it was because the West's animation industry hated anime on its merits and for no other reason. The mentor who explained it to me was a guy who had worked for both Disney and Pixar, and who had been in the industry for as long as I'd been alive, basically. He saw my portfolio and saw that it had anime in it, and told me if I wanted to work in the industry, I should probably draw something else. And when I questioned him, he said, "Anime is great, it looks awesome, I think it's cool, but there's no positions for animators who do anime in the West. We don't have a company for it." And suddenly, it made perfect sense. So the problem isn't that your art teacher was right on principle that you shouldn't draw anime. They were only right because of circumstances. In this moment, I realized that the gap between the kids who want to make anime for a living and the people who want to watch anime in the West is just the development of a company that produces it, that's founded here. It kind of makes for an interesting challenge to the kids of this and future generations, who specifically grew up on anime. Shows like Teen Titans and Steven Universe take heavily from the influences of anime. But how much longer will it take us to fully jump into the pond? And no, I don't mean Avatar or Legend of Korra, which were both produced overseas. It's kind of exciting when you think about it. What would it look like in art class if the anime style was produced in the West as mainstream, and then you tried to draw it in class? It would mean that your teachers would have to look at you seriously, and also that what you were doing wasn't just an expression of what you love, but also something that you could produce for the enjoyment of others, and as a means for providing for yourself. I don't know. It's something that I've thought about for a long time since then, and it makes me wonder if anyone's tried to do it in the past. I suppose the question isn't about whether or not you should draw anime, but whether or not we're also willing to make a place for it here. Personally, I'm a fan of the idea of being a jack of all trades and a master of one. So, while I may love drawing anime the most, I think it's important to be well-rounded on multiple styles. In the meantime, though, because I want anime to be more accessible in the West, and the idea of it more prevalent among Western artists, I'm actually working on producing my own independent manga, to be produced sometime next year. It's obviously not going to change the world overnight, but I think if enough artists push themselves to publish and create in the anime style that they love, there may come a time where a company to produce it as mainstream has to be developed, for no other reason than it wouldn't make sense to not create it just based on the demand. Then, when your teacher tells you that you shouldn't draw anime, you can tell them that you're just practicing your craft. It's not a moral judgment. I think we have to remember that while there are some art teachers that hate anime based on, I don't even know if they know why they hate it so much. Probably because it's more popular than the classics and that's what they grew up on. But we grew up on anime, so it makes sense why we like it. It's not out of maliciousness. It's not malice-based. They don't hate you. It's not about, you have to imagine that these teachers have kids coming in left and right. There's a lot of us just drawing anime. Non-stop. It is popular. Make no mistake. It's popular. And things that are popular tend to be hated by people who are niche. Anime used to be niche. It's not anymore. It's mainstream. To the point where it's starting to become unreasonable to ignore it. I think it'd be good to look at it like an opportunity. It's not a bad thing that your teachers are telling you to not draw anime. You simply have to respond with, "Okay, teacher, I'll draw what you want, but I will also draw what I want." Consider it a challenge to say, I can do what you do, but you can't do what I do. I think that's the healthiest way to approach it. Because they're not wrong in telling you that you need to diversify your style and diversify your skill set and become better at doing multiple different things. They are completely correct on all of those fronts. The only thing that they are not entirely correct on is the fact that anime, if we so choose to, can be a legitimate form of animation here. The point of this video is to inspire you to try and create. I am actually telling you to draw anime by telling you why you shouldn't draw anime. The point is to create space for it. To form a community that is not just willing to enjoy the medium, but willing to produce it. We have to make a place for it here. Otherwise, your teachers will still say you shouldn't draw anime. I'm looking forward to the day in which we actually have a company that produces anime in the West, because I swear I will intern for free. I will bust my butt to make sure that that company is successful, and I think loads of other people share that opinion. So I don't know how far off it is, it's just a matter of time, and who has the business wherewithal to do it. Interesting times ahead. But hey, that's just me. This has been Charlotte, with Charlotte Sketches, where Charlotte sketches. Thanks for listening. If you like this video, or if you hated it entirely and want to tell me exactly why I'm wrong, I look forward to reading your comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and hit that share button. I'm sure not a lot of people have heard this argument when it comes to why you shouldn't draw anime, and if I had heard this years in advance, maybe in high school, it wouldn't have been as jarring when I got to college. Anyways, I appreciate you coming by and having a look. Thanks for staying till the end.